Hello everyone, this is Anissa Hunter, owner of Mrs. Nana Pudding and More. Today I am making me a small seafood boil. I'm going to make me some king crab legs and some lobster tails. So I just wanted to show you guys how I make my own seafood boil. So right here I have my boiling hot water. And I like to put the top on because, it just helps it begin to boil quicker. So right here I have my Zatarain's crab boil in a bag. So you just literally open the box, take it out. It's already in a little baggie with the seasonings. And I drop that in the water. I also like to add a little Mrs. Dash. See that? And then some ground ginger. Now that's all that I add to my water, and then I let that sit. Let me just give it a little stir. Let me just stir it a little bit. Okay, there we go. And then I'm gonna let that, cook a little bit. Put my top back on. And then let's move over to the butter sauce. Okay, so now on to my butter sauce. So I like to put 2 sticks of butter onto my heated skillet. And then I also like to take some chicken broth and pour that in. This way I don't have to use so much butter, to give yourself some of the liquid that you need. So I'm going to stir this up a little bit. Okay. And then none of these things do I measure. I just put what I like in there, the amount. You can do it to taste, and once you get the hang of it. And then I add a little minced garlic. I love garlic. So I'm going to add like 1 tablespoon of it. Okay. And then I'm going to add some Slap Your Mama Cajun sauce, Cajun seasoning. I love this. So I'm going to sprinkle that in. I also like to put some chili powder. I'm going to sprinkle that in. I do like mine a little spicy, just a little kick, not a whole lot. Then I'm going to put some garlic powder in there. And then I'm going to use some ground ginger. Ginger is very healthy for you. Some Mrs. Dash. And some crushed red pepper. And all of these, you can use whatever brand you like to use. You don't have to use a specific brand. It's totally up to you. And then I'm going to give this a stir. I think I'm going to add a little bit more chicken broth to it. That's more than a little bit, but some chicken broth. And then I'm going to give this a stir. And then lastly, I like to buy the pepper and onion blend with the onions and the bell peppers. I like to put this in mine. Now you can take the time to cut up fresh bell peppers and onions if you like. I have done that as well, but today I'm using this bag. This bag is your best friend when you're lazy. I like a lot of bell peppers and onions, so you can really put in as many as you like. Every time I take a bite out of my seafood and I dip it into my sauce, I like to taste bell peppers and onions. So I use a whole lot. And then you're just going to let this sit. I just want to stir it up a little bit just to mix everything together. And then just let this sit for a couple of minutes. And then what you really want, and how I really like mine, is I like when it gets really dark in color. And it begins to boil a little bit, and I'll just turn it down until I'm ready to go ahead and eat it. But that's how I make my butter sauce. I'm going to let this cook, and then I'll come back and show you guys once it starts turning darker in color. Okay, so now that my water is boiling and my seasonings are going in the pot, I'm going to add, you guys, I'm trying to position it so you can see it. There we go. I'm going to add my lobster tails and my king crab legs to the mix. So I have like my big spoon that I use to just be able to drop them in there without splashing it. So give that like a little stir. Not a stir, but you know, just a little. There we go. Okay. And then I'm gonna let this cook. Let me see, I could probably bring it up here. See that? So I'm gonna let that cook. Typically the lobster tails, they're about maybe 6-7 minutes, and then the king crab legs maybe about 5 minutes, because the king crab legs, they're already cooked. Crab legs are already cooked. You're just really, you know, warming them up. And then the lobster tails, I typically cook those and I'll watch them like after 5 minutes and see if they balled up. When they balled up, they're ready. When they ball up, they're ready. So I'm going to let that cook and I'll come back. Okay, so while I'm waiting on my crab legs and my lobster tails to cook, let's come back over here to my butter sauce. Now you see how, I'll tilt it a little bit, how darker it is. It's ready. And then what I like to do is, you know, once my butter sauce is ready, I like to add just a little bit of lemon juice to it. I save my whole lemons. I save these for when I'm actually eating my lobster tails and my crab legs, but just put like a little drop, 2 drops of the lemon juice in there just for flavor, and then stir that up. Now if you don't really like lemon juice, don't put any in there, or if you love it, you can add a little bit more to it. It's really butter sauce is about your taste and how you like it. If you notice, I did not add like seasoned salt or anything like that. I don't have to have salt. As long as I got like my herbs and spices and my lemon juice, I'm good. I don't really need salt. So that is how you make butter sauce. I'll come back once my lobster tails and my crab legs are done, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Okay, so my lobster tails and my crab legs are done. And so you can see here, you see how the lobster tail has balled up. Those are definitely done. And then I'm going to take my crab legs out. You see that? And then I want to say too, you know how I use this this spoon to put everything in there. Make sure you wash it before you use it on your cooked seafood. And then I'm just going to take this out and put everything in my bowl. Okay. And then I'll show you guys the complete project. Okay, and this is the finished product. I took my lobster tail and my crab legs out of the shell. And then I got my butter sauce in here so I could just eat it. And then I also have me, I love avocado and I love the jalapeno peppers. And I got me some lemons I cut up. So for the jalapenos, I just take a jalapeno, I cut it up in pieces like this, julienne style, and then I rinse them off because you don't want to have those seeds on it, because those are very, very hot. And so I just eat my my seafood with my peppers, and then I cut up my avocados in wedges, and as well as my lemon. And that's how I make my seafood boil. Thanks for watching.